Cool. Well, welcome everyone to, and thank you for joining us in QI Week for QI Leaders, Why the Network is Key. So my name's Carl Adams. I work for the Academy of Research for Improvement with Anita and Sarah, who's joined us today. I'm just going to talk with Sarah, actually, who's one of our QI leaders, and I'll introduce Sarah, can introduce herself in a minute. And we're going to talk about, as a discussion with a few questions about how a network and a structured network has helped use coaching-based approach to QI leadership. And the reason we've chosen this topic is, as a region, we've all looked at the NHS impact, and we've looked at the investing in people part and what kind of we can do to around invest in people. And this is one of those areas that comes up. So we want to highlight kind of what Sarah's experience is going to share, her experience is kind of what's made that happen or has facilitated that to happen as well. So I'll first start by sharing what we mean by QI leaders. If I can make it work. Yeah. So as a trust, we have different opportunities for people to learn and deliver quality improvement. We've been doing this for the last 5 or 6 years with quite an array of online, in-person training opportunities, supporting projects and staff to make improvements across our service line. And quite a few years ago, about 5 or 6 years ago now, I think many of you would have experienced this, but there's those really passionate people, the eager beagers, the leaders of the future, the leaders now, the people who have really kind of understood, grasped, or actually enjoyed making differences through quality improvement. And rather than let those people just disappear or stop at whatever they've just learned about or the project they've done, how could we support them further beyond that project? So we devised the Quality Improvement Leaders Programme, which is for anyone who has that passion and been through some training and delivered some improvements and have experience of it. And what we've done is created this network of what we call QI ninjas, but people on the ground in services who are the eyes and ears of the QI team in Solent, who can work with us to grow that focus of culture around quality improvement and improving services for better healthcare. So, and what we found is that it's great having the best QI team in the world, and of course we have to be proud of that. But actually what we found is that colleagues will go to colleagues and talk about and ask. So the QI leaders in services, people will go to them and ask for help, ask about ideas, about change. How can I do it? I've got this idea. And then between the QI leaders and ourselves, we can then start to formulate what works best for that project or the team member. And so we do that. But networks need a structure. They need something that holds it together. These things don't happen. So people come on the QI Leaders Program, apply to be part of it. We then take it, we provide some training around leadership, QI leadership, leading projects, looking at self, and quality improvement tools and what learning needs they have. And we provide that training. And then we provide quarterly meetups, training and peer support days. So every quarter, there's a day for QI leaders to come together and support each other. And we're going to explore that bit. But those days quarterly are co-designed. So they're not what we think as a QI team the leaders need. Is we ask them what they want and we ask them to participate in delivering that. We bring in expertise and we bring in house people, and it depends what it is. So that's what QI leaders, I hope that makes some sense about how you form a network and kind of needs that structure behind it. But in particular, one key focus that we've developed probably in the last 18 months is the coaching aspect or that peer support bit. And we formalize that a little bit more together as a network. And I think it's been a real revelation in kind of the success to QI leaders. So I'd like to explore that a bit more with Sarah for the next few minutes and see what she thinks. Oh, So yeah, as I said, we talked about that, and also, and we've talked about peer coaching already, but having that dedicated time in the days when the QI leads come together, and it has built that relationships across the trust and different parts of the system to allow people to connect and work together and learn from each other. So Sarah, welcome. If you don't mind just introducing yourself.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Sarah Oborne. I am Quality and Development Lead within Solent NHS Trust, and I work within Southampton with our adult services. So we have various community teams, including community nursing, urgent response, therapists, neuro services, and also we have inpatients as well, which includes acquired brain injury, neurological, and general rehabilitation. So it's a really, we have about 500 and something staff, so it's a fairly large area. My role includes QI, but being a QI leader, that's really helped me to pinpoint where my gaps are, where other people's gaps are, and also what other people are doing. Because one of the benefits for me, I mean, apart from everything Carl said, is that if there is, so we've got an initiative called Happier Working Lives. I didn't know a lot about that because I hadn't been through the program, but actually they'll tell us what that program is, let us play with all the tools and things, and actually understand what our teams are doing so we can better support them. So yeah, and as Carl said, the coaching stuff has been really useful because I'm not a trained coach, but obviously we're using a lot of those skills. Carl mentioned, people coming to us, but in my role as well, I go and seek them out. So I hear that somebody's doing something, or that there's somebody's got some rumbles about, oh, this isn't working. We can go and actually say, okay, how can we make it better? Or I hear you're doing some improvement work. Can you tell me about it? And get it on board so that we can help them, we can support them, we capture that learning and we can share it.
That's brilliant, Sarah. And from the start of when you joined QI Leaders, is that what you expected, or is it different than what you expected? If that makes sense. Is it,
Yeah, no, I think it's evolved.
What would you have told yourself when you first joined versus now, I guess?
Yeah, I think it's evolved. I think that as you said, I've been doing it for about 2.5 years. So there's definitely more of the coaching. Initially, it was much more about us learning. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but having the talks from NHS Select, looking at the different tools. You mentioned, Anita, the demand and capacity work that we did. So we're actually doing some work and learning. It has evolved now. It's always been what we needed, and as you say, co-designed. But now I think we've got more of that time for supporting each other in our role and actually learning from each other about what's going on. The QI leaders from across the trust, and they have some such fantastic ideas and things that are going on and ways they've approached it, but also they have issues, and being able to bring those, and we will use a coaching model or some other supportive model, and we can practice that, we can try that out within the group, and actually see what we like, what we don't like. I mean, I hated coaching circles, I just didn't get it, but having done a couple, I do now. I get it now, and actually, yeah, I think they're great. But actually, it took me a couple of tries out to actually work out what that was about and how they worked. So I think being able to do that is an additional benefit. We get the support and the learning from each other, but we also get to try it out before we go and do it with our victims out in our own areas.
And I see that Penny's just joined us.
Oh, brilliant! Hi, Penny.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can anybody? Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure if you can see me at the moment. I've got a pretty weak connection here. A lot of sunshine, but a very weak internet connection. Sorry.
So Penny, if you don't mind, maybe turn your camera off if you want to say broadband, if it helps. I don't. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Well, we want to see you.
Well, I can actually point my camera out. No, I don't think you're going to get to see anything. But anyway, let me not interrupt. I was just caught the tail end of Sarah's. I was going to quickly ask you about.
So, do you want to share with the group who you are and how you've been involved in QI Leaders since the start, I believe?
Yeah. Okay, so thank you. I'm Penny Reid. I got involved with QI Leaders through being a carer for my late husband, but I hope that what I also bring to the group is the fact that I run my own company, and we specialise in behavioural development for teams and individuals and organisations. But the fact is, I've almost, I think, got more from being a member than what I've given.
Absolutely, thank you, Penny. Yeah, so I'm pleased to say that QI Leaders is not grade specific or anything, and we're really pleased to have Penny and two other patient representation on the group as well, who all have different experience of quality improvement with our service lines. And so Penny's been there since the beginning, and like I say, we really lean on Penny's expertise in the leadership behaviour world. But our other colleagues, patient colleagues, we involve them in that, and it really helps the dynamics of the group to have patients involved in it. And we're all looking to evolve that. So it's been a brilliant time, and like I say, it's bringing those skills from outside the NHS in, which is really valuable. Thank you, Penny. I'm going to go on. So my next question was, so we're focusing in particular around the network, and I just wondered how you felt, how the structure of it really, I guess the organisation of it and the co-design. What do you feel the benefits of that? Why do we need that? If you were, what would you say to others who were setting up like a QI network, I guess? I mean, any thoughts around that?
Can I step in first and say,
please do, Penny.
that I think the real benefits of having this network, which meets regularly and has some input into what it feels it needs, is that it can be quite a challenging job to help people see beyond their daily responsibilities, and how quality improvement has to become a second nature issue and not a specific thing that one has to learn how to do. My own view is that quality improvement, most people understand it intellectually, but they do need quite a lot of support to keep going, to keep motivated in the face of a large organisation like yours, the National Health Service, that has so many other things going on and so many other priorities, that sometimes just to keep your motivation going, it's really helpful to be able to get together with other QI leaders and talk through successes as well as the challenges.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. Thank you. Sarah, how about for yourself?
Yeah, I would echo that. I mean, I never disagree with Penny because she's always right. But I think for me as well, it can be quite a lonely place. Because one of the difficulties for me is not. I want to get in there and do it, because I know how to, and I want to help people. I know they're busy, and it would be great if I could just do everything, but that's not how people learn. That's not the best way of doing things. What I think I know and everything is totally rubbish, because I don't work on the wards and things. So I think the benefit is being able to talk to people at that level that are trying to lead in QI and improve. I mean, forget the Q, it's improvement. It is about quality, but it's about safety, it's about staff learning, it's about making things better for patients. So anything improvement, but actually trying to lead that sometimes it has its frustrations. And you want people to do things that they say they want to do, but then they have other priorities, or they leave, or they go on a course, or they're just too busy and things. So having somebody else to talk about those frustrations is really helpful. But also, as Penny said, those real successes and the things you're doing well, and actually sometimes being able to build on those can be quite difficult, because actually, okay, this was our issue, we've solved that, we've improved things, actually what next? And getting some ideas about that, it is fantastic, because then that just keeps motivating and keeps improving.
And the other thing we haven't spoke about is how, sorry, it's just how actually how there's no kind of defined role in QA leaders, so everyone's doing slightly different, and so it's actually hearing that as well. And some people are influencing in very structured meetings, some people are leading projects, big scale, some are, I call them the glue, bringing projects together and different aspects of services to then make one big success. So hearing that and understand that, but it's not like it's everyone has to do the same. Penny, sorry, I interrupted.
No, not at all. No, I was going to follow on from what Sarah was also saying there about, leave the queue out. It's about continuous improvement. It's about making sure. I mean, I think the group made a big step forward when I think almost unanimously, in fact, I can't think of anybody who objected when we said we must stop calling them QI projects. Because to make it a project makes it sound as if somehow it has a beginning, a middle and an end. Whereas what we are trying to convey is that improvement, as Sarah said, whether it's quality, staffing, learning, whatever it is, it's a continuous process. It doesn't have an end, because just when you've improved one thing, you'll realise that there are other things that need to be built onto that. And so coming back to your question about what the benefits of having a leader network is, we can hear how other people have made those step improvements and have got improvement to be a continuous exercise, just a continuous part of the job that you have to do, whatever service line you're in.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Oh, God, I've not got this working day. And then one of my next questions is what have we gained from the coaching aspect, the actual, we've touched upon it, but actually we use something called coaching circles, which I'll share on the slide, but basically a structured coaching conversation. And we've evolved this through the QI Leader Network using different models, but through the work of NHS Elect, the group have really grasped and valued coaching circles. So I just wondered what the coaching aspect, that peer bit, has given you, Sarah, to maybe start with, or the value of that dedicated time in when we meet up.
There was, as I said earlier, that I think there's two aspects to this. There's the actual doing it within the group and actually acting as a coach to each other or being coached, which is really, really, it's so beneficial, because if you're the person being coached, you're bringing something that isn't working or that you think could be done differently or be done better, and actually it's such a safe environment. You can talk about things, and people, because they're not from my environment, from my service line, they ask such different questions. They don't automatically know what I'm talking about necessarily. If I'm talking about a specific service, they won't be familiar with that service, and they'll ask those questions which make you think in a different way. And the support you get is brilliant. And then being a coach as well, as I said, it gives you that opportunity to act as a coach, find out what they're, what's going on with them, but also to use those skills and that, whatever model it is, as say we're using coaching circles, and then use that with other people in the area that wherever, the leader comes from. So, we've started talking about it in my service line about how we could use that and how we could use some other models and things that we've looked at, and perhaps change the way that we do our supervision, because it's not always working for people. So, it's doing it in the actual time we have, but also then it's the spread of that outside. Brilliant. So those are the two benefits.
Really well, great to hear that. Penny, what about for you? You've seen it evolve, haven't you, over the time as well?
Yes, and I think that one of the real joys of coaching is helping other people realise that they actually know more than they think they know, and asking the right questions. And certainly Sarah's right about doing this in a safe environment where nothing you do can be wrong in the personal learning environment. So you can have a go, and if it doesn't work, then you try it a different way. But for me, the absolute joy of coaching is helping people realise how much they already know. They just perhaps don't always have the same language or the background and so on, and they feel a little bit out of their depth. And coaching is a wonderful way to help people see that we've all been in that boat at some point. And we, in fact, the way we coach other people is from our own learning experience too.
Is there anything in particular that's made a safe environment? Is there any recommendations we've done that you think's helped that? I mean, I'm struggling myself, but I think maybe it's a continuous of it. Maybe that is one.
I think the continuity is an important thing. It takes a little while to build up relationships. You know, from my point of view, being one of the patient representatives or service user representatives, helping them understand that, you know, patients have a voice, their carers have a voice, and actually when they're asking questions, they're not criticizing you. So helping people learn not to take things so personally, but at the same time being personally responsible for dealing with whatever that person is saying to you. So it's that safety of having built the relationships through the QI Leader Network. Gradually, I think people like myself have been positively welcomed into the group.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think also we do, obviously, as part of the program, we do some stuff around like insights and personality, so we understand people's different views and where you know how you see the view and how you process stuff, and maybe that. I'm just reflecting myself, being a bit of, you know, in those environment, and maybe that's that, like you say, building a relationship and having those conversations. We're all starting to see the world differently and appreciate that value, and then that helps in the coaching around the relationships as well. Sarah, is there anything else you'd like to add? Yeah, go on, Penny.
Sorry, if I can just,
Yeah.
sorry, Sarah, but if I can just add to that, the word value, you know, sometimes gets a bit overused, but the value that we get out of these things is to help people see that everybody has value. And when we come to personality assessments and thinking about how different people need to have things presented to them in different ways, I think that's been a really valuable part of helping the QI leaders pass on their knowledge to how to deal with the whole range of the whole spectrum of people. Don't deal with people the way you want to deal with them, but deal with them the way they need to be dealt with.
Yeah. Sarah, do you want
Sorry,
to add anything
Sarah,
else?
over to you.
No, yeah. Do you want to add anything?
No, thanks, Penny. It's a really good point. I mean, I was just going to add on to what Penny said, that I think one of the things, all of the learning that we've done, you know, we've done work on influencing people was the last session we had, and actually using those skills and building on those skills. So you're giving feedback to people within the coaching session in a way that it is kind, and it might be very, you know, it might be totally against what they're planning or something. It might be actually, had you thought about doing this totally differently, or you know, you might be some real challenge there, but it's done in a very kind way and a very positive criticism, so that actually there's no reason for anyone to feel uncomfortable or anyone to feel that there's a threat, but you can still challenge. And actually that's something I think I've learned, that I mean that actually you can challenge almost the opposite way that the person's thinking, but if you do it in the right way, it's going to be listened to. They might still decide that's not the way forward, but just that offering that different point of view, as you said, Penny, and our service user leaders within the group, just it's so good to have that view, because you don't speak NHS, and you remind us that actually sometimes we do speak NHS and things like that actually you just say, hang on a minute, real world coming in here. So it's
and
everybody's really useful.
Yeah, really. Thank you everyone. So just to open, hope that's been useful, and would welcome anyone's insights or reflections, but also if anyone got any questions for the last few minutes to the group, to Sarah, Penny, or myself. They will wait. I'll stop sharing for a second, and I'll share at the end the circles, but I do welcome anyone who's got any questions or would like to find out more. Or maybe a bit dead silence. Okay. Well, what I will do then I think I'll just share. I'll just quickly share the circle. Oh, sorry, I will just share the coaching circles. If you Google coaching circles, I can put a link in the chat in a minute. There's definitely that is definitely worth looking into. It's a structure that works for us, but as a group, but it doesn't mean it has to work for everyone. So I think I would definitely recommend that. Oh, what I'm doing here. And then, so this is a kind of rough structure of coaching circles. And like we said, we dedicate time to that and ensure that. And it comes with timelines. And we have this up on the screen and we work to it. And I'll put the guide in the corner to it, which you can download. But if you Google it, you'll find quite a few different versions on it. So yeah, please do check out coaching circles. So we're nearly at time. I hope that's been useful, and do reach out if you would like to find out more about the QI leaders or the structure. And I think hopefully we've given you some insights in what's worked in Solent and about that investing in people and how you know it needs structure, needs co-design, needs that building of relationships. It does need investment to make these things work, but actually, if you're going to get cultural change, you need that network of people, and those people can connect and give that opportunity to people. And so I hope that's been useful and you've taken some learning around that. And like I say, please reach out and enjoy QI week.
Oh, we've just got someone typing in the chat box.
That.
I know.
Yeah.
That was it. Thank you. That was really interesting.
Good.
Another thank you.
I'll stop sharing. Oh, brilliant.